That takes a minute. Welcome to the show. We are excited that this is our 150th podcast today. I'm your host, one of your co-hosts, Brian Boggins. I'm going to jump off because we have a very special guest, and we don't like to waste time, especially when we have guests. Come on.
I am Jamal Smith, another co-host. We're very happy to have Jennifer Gray Thompson on today, and this is the last of season 3. I'm going to pop off and hand it over to Toni.
Hey everybody, it's Toni Bailey Rains. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. We are having technical difficulties this morning. Jennifer has had a few, we've frozen and had some glitches a little bit. So they popped off quickly, but I am super excited to have Jennifer with me this morning. Jennifer Gray Thompson is the founder and CEO of an organization, a nonprofit called After the Fire. And I'm going to let Jennifer come on and talk about why she started After the Fire, how we met, and then some things that we're doing, because I'm coming up north in about a month to the summit, but really to learn so much from you, because you founded it after a fire, right? And literally now help people all over the country after they've been devastated by fires like we have in Altadena and the people in Palisades as well. So Jennifer, take it away, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about After the Fire, and then we'll have a great conversation.
Well, thank you so much, Toni, for having me. I've been impressed by you from the first moment that we met. I actually read about you before we got to meet in person and made an effort to reach out and to meet you as one of the voices of the community. And, you know, one of the ways we work at After the Fires, it's always really important to us that when we walk into a community, we start to look for who are the leaders who have trusted connections with the rest of the community. And then we try to figure out how can we support those local leaders in order to really make it through what is a long slog of recovery after a devastating event. And so Jennifer Gray Thompson, I founded this organization on accident. In 2017, where I live in Sonoma, we had a devastating mega fire. We lost 8,900 homes, many of them in the first couple of days, many the first night. And across 4 counties, 5,900 in just Sonoma County. I grew up here. I was actually born in Los Angeles, but I grew up here. And it was a stunning amount of grief and loss and tragedy. And we were stunned by it. And what was really hard is that there was no one to help walk us home, because there had never been we'd seen some things like the Oakland Hills fire in 1992 and the Valley fire in 2015, but nothing on this scale. And so over that next year, as I was learning in my own regional nonprofit, about 13 months later, the Camp Fire and Woolsey fire happened. And then I thought, just from a human being perspective, maybe I can help them not reinvent everything and they won't feel as lonely as we did, because the systems are set up for wind and rain and not fire. And so since then we have evolved, and in 2020, 2021, we turned into a national organization because we were already going up to Oregon. We went to the Marshall Fire at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. We'd been all across California, and it was obvious to us that we needed to form a community of people who'd been through this so we could show up for each other over and over again. And then I also do a lot of federal advocacy, but only for fire survivors. I'm not for hire. I'm not for sale.
Right. Thank you,
Jen.
We
can talk about that. But yeah.
What'd you say? Is there a delay?
I just wanted to mention that I believe it's because you were in this really wonderful article, and I read it, and I thought, well, I would like to know her, and I think it was even in the LA Times, and so our team reached out specifically. Again, because we're always looking for people like you who have trust and a voice in the community, because our job is to support your leadership.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you did. You were like, "Hi, Toni. I read this article on you in the LA Times," and I was like, "What?" And you reached out, and it was great. And I've been to a couple of the meetings, and then I know I'm coming up north next month for the full summit, which is the 8th through the 11th, I believe. And super excited about that, because I remember you said you're one of the leaders in the community, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just me, right? But things have evolved for us, much like they did for you. As far as you starting after the fire, we are now doing this podcast. Today is episode 150, and we're learning every day. And so it's so important for us to learn from after the fire, because you guys have gone to, like you said, the Woolsey, the Boulder fire, Lahaina in Hawaii. And you have so much knowledge that could help our community. So super grateful. You're having some buffering issues, and Jennifer said she could only hear like every other word that I'm saying. So hopefully
we can. I think we can. If we're gonna make it through. But if for some reason we don't, I'll immediately come back on the minute that you need me. Whatever you need from us, we'll do. So my apologies. I think it's an issue on my end. Just so you all know, this is not Toni's issue. I had an update. I did want to say this, that every fire we walk into is different, and we are very respectful of that, because we come from fire communities, and so we try really hard to make sure that we are respectful of what was there before and what people want to preserve and enhance, and maybe even reform the day after and the years after. And we actually design how we work in each community according to what we are hearing from the community, from what they need and want from us. And so in Los Angeles, with a double disaster, we call it sisters, not twins. I think that's really important, because sisters have to rise together, and no one should be left behind. But so we've been very mindful to give you a very robust level of service that's very, respectful, but also that has us learning alongside of you for the parts that are different, and then bringing you all of our A game Rolodex of everybody we can think of that could be of use to you. And we always say our systems are they are adaptable. They are not something to be adopted. You should take them. Every community should take them and use them as they work for them. Just like the campfire. I helped them set up Rebuild Paradise Foundation. And so it looked like mine, but then they created programs like there's a gravel grant program that you guys are getting, but there's also the housing plan library, something that they invented. And then the goal becomes, can we go ahead and make sure that we are always improving, iterating, doing what's right by the community in front of us. And it's been an honor. I'm always very respectful of where I walk into and how I walk into communities, and that's important from all of us. On my team.
You know what, Jen? I just want to say that's one of the things that I really love about you and your organization. You do not come in and try to tell a community what they have to do. You say, this is what we can help you with. And then you say, how can we help you? Because as you know, after a fire, tons of people are terrified that everybody wants to come and buy up the land. And that those people that come and buy the land will then change the entire community. And you told us back, I think that very first meeting, the different phases or steps after the fire, when it comes to clearing the land, when it comes to, I remember you saying, one of the things that will happen potentially is squatters may come. We're seeing a little bit of that now, but our sheriffs have been great, because he talked to the Sonoma County Sheriff. And then you always, You always ask, what can we do? And then you give us help, but you're not telling us you have to do this. And that's amazing about what you all are doing. How much of that did you hear?
About 20%, but I think you were asking about, I think you were saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. I'm not precious. That when you come into, you were talking about like what we see. Is that what you're talking about? Like what to be cautious of too? Because unfortunately, your fire in particular has been very predatory from outside actors. And that's been, there's always a lot of predation, a lot of people trying to take advantage of your loss and your pain in order to enrich themselves or whatever it is. We see that quite often. Maui, we saw that a lot, but they really shut that down quite early. It's easier because they're an island, to be fair, yeah. And they have really one government. They don't have all these jurisdictions. But, I really, and I hope I'm not going off topic or it doesn't. Oh, God, yeah, we don't tell you what to do. You know what to do. We just teach you disaster. Like, it says, so it says in there, she was saying that the org doesn't tell us what to do. Nope, not our job. Unless we see something that is really concerning to us, like we were concerned that AI would be the only thing that you would be offered for your rebuilding. And we said, well, no, what are the guardrails to make sure that they are not profiting, or scraping your data in the policies? And so we might go hard on that. But I want to know, the minute I walk in, I want to hear like, what did you lose? It's important for you to be able to express to me what you lost that meant the most to you and to my team. And then what we do is that we try to figure out, okay, who can we bring to you that can, we can't give you back the day before. We would love to, but we can't do that. That can actually help you achieve what it is that you want. What did you love about your community? If it's not going to be exactly the same as the day before, how can we actually get you to a place where you feel like that you rebuilt and reimagined the community? And there are sometimes opportunities there. It's never good when a fire happens. I would never wish it for anybody, but one of the things I noticed that as soon as we walked into Altadena, that people were so proud of the historically Black Black home ownership, very high, and the movements of the 60s, Octavia Butler, and the architecture. And this came from everybody. This wasn't it wasn't just a Black community thing. It was like everybody said, this is what we love about our community. And so when we start thinking about that, we're like, okay. So then I learned about the history more, which I was not aware of. And then you think, what if we could actually start to increase numbers of Black home ownership more towards the 40%, because you've lost about 22% over the last decade or so. And so what can we do? Who are the people who, have innovative ideas like Lori Gay at Neighborhood Housing Services, who just get to work? And, what can we do? And then we just continue to listen, especially because we're going to get stuff wrong in our perceptions because we are not from there. And so we're always just trying to listen to what it is that you want. What do you care about? And then for years, as the space of disaster, and we call it the slog, changes, then we want to make sure we're also still there so that you always have somebody to call and you are not lonely. And if that means that sometimes we have to say, I don't know, but let's figure this out and walk alongside of you. And we will always be honest with you. We want you to know that you can trust us and we are not, here just for a minute, that we want to know you. And we do say, though, that at some point I'll call you and I will say, I'm really sorry, but we had this other disaster. Do you mind coming with me? And I like to do that from people. I like to bring people who are in all stages. Maui, just a year and a half ago, or now 2 years ago on August 8th, all the way to almost 8 years ago in my fire. Can I tell you about this summit? Go ahead.
So you guys, hold on one second.
I can.
Because
I'm really sorry.
When I speak, Jennifer can only hear about 20% of what I'm saying, so I'm typing her some of the questions for our conversation. So what I just put in our internal chat, I'm asking Jennifer now, can she tell us a little bit about this upcoming summit that will be next month and what topics will be covered? Because I will be going, as well as I think Ash Level, there's a bunch of Altadena community members and Palisades people that will be there. But I want our audience to hear about this summit and what types of things we will learn and be able to bring back to our community.
The summit came as an organic idea. Community organizing, it's really the same concept as something we're all out there trying to do, which is knit together a stronger community so that we can share information so that we can mitigate the suffering. Mitigating suffering is really important to me. But also, I would like everyone to know each other. So I know all these amazing leaders and just from all over the country, but especially in wildfire communities, but some people who've held, been administrators of FEMA or SBA or IB, people who work at IBHS or people who have specialized knowledge. And then I like to have nearly every mega fire community in the United States since 2017 in the house as well. It's really important to me that I platform people who are brand new to this and people who are maybe have been doing disaster for 25, 30 years and everybody in between. Often in any field, it's like this. Nobody puts you on a dais or a stage until you have multiple years of experience, and even then it can be hard. And one of the things that we try to do at the summit is I can platform somebody who's maybe 8 months into this, but also somebody who's 25 years, because I think we have something to learn from each other. I always think that, if you're new to it and you're building upon what has been created, then so that's very important to me. The other part is that we unfortunately have had the opportunity every year we've done this to invite new communities into what we call the worst club with the best people. And so we're making it a little more ceremonial this year. Last year, we flew out 30 leaders from Maui. We do everything we can to underwrite the cost of that. And so for every person that we had to split it up this year between Maui and LA. We also like to underwrite the cost as much as possible of them to attend so that it's not something that only people with means can do. So this year we're opening it up with Aloe Black and Kainoa Horkajo from Maui, and they are going to sort of set the tone for this summit and a grounding force. That we are here because of a terrible thing that happened and grief, and we're not just in our blazers being professional, but we're also being deeply human. We have Pete Gaynor coming. He's a keynote speaker. He's the former head of FEMA, and then we have all kinds of frontline leaders who do disaster case management, people who are working on tech, people who are working on tech and mental health, people who are working on mental health, people who are working on soft and hard infrastructure. And soft infrastructure is really like the kind of thing that you're doing here right now, which is so important. Under an under-realized asset in every community is the trusted leaders. And so soft infrastructure means that people have a place to go, that they trust the person that they're hearing the information from. And that builds not only a better chance at recovery, but also resiliency. So we like to platform those people. We can't platform everybody we would like to, but what we do is we make it a very nurturing environment. It's got brains attached to it as well, but we want it to be a respite where people get to know each other and make their own connections. Because what I realized years ago is that if I am at the center of the spoke, that is not good for the space of disaster. You should also know each other and start to build those networks, and you're also going to improve on it. Because I am but one person with a fantastic team. Love my team, they're amazing. But we really need to make sure at the summit that we are building community and listening to each other. And it's only 200 people. We curate every single person who sits in those seats. And we have a no sales thing too, because we don't want people sold to while they're there. And if anybody is weird like that, it's happened a couple of times, I boot them ever. and that it's really for you to know each other and to learn about each other. And another important thing is that you never, I never want you to see somebody on the stage that you can't have access to 10 minutes later, because I don't like that. You're like, how are we all going to get through this if we can't have access to each other, no matter what your title is? I don't care.
Yeah, that's really good. From what you know from past fires and where we are,
I don't know if I covered all of. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
How are we faring, meaning Altadena, at 8 months out compared to other fires?
Oh, you know, well, so you know, the thing about Altadena, the thing about your fire is that's both painful and also so impressive. It's kind of all wrapped up into one. You have an unprecedented federal landscape that is not as supportive as one would hope and has been traditionally done. So that is something we always have to contend with, which means that the private sector has to play a larger role. So does philanthropy, right? I do think that'll change when the House flips, but it's one of those unfortunate things that we're living here in reality, and this is just how it's going to be. You guys are ahead of schedule. It is the most officious fire I've ever worked, and we're pretty officious in Sonoma County too. But there's so much talent in these fires. People who are producers, they are innovators, they are creators, they are doers. And what I'm seeing is there's so much organizing that in the beginning I was a little concerned because it was hard to figure out from all the Denas who was what, and I think you and I talked about this at the time. Like, I need navigators for what's going to be stood up, and that usually comes out of this thing that Rebecca Solnit calls a paradise built in hell, which is all these people who love their communities stand up in the midst of the response, and they start to really serve their community together, and it's meaningful. And they want to keep doing it. Some people just they burn out, which is totally fine, and that's not a problem. You can do your part as long as you're supportive and not just an armchair quarterback sitting back in Lompoc, California, having no idea what you're talking about, right? But you guys are doing really well. You have been the target of political disinformation, which is too bad, especially around trying to exploit the trust gap. And that's something that we've been really leaning into. We experienced this on Maui as well. It's one of the hardest things to deal with because you have people who are producers and they do great work and they are producing wonderful work. You're producing wonderful work. This is what you're doing here. You want to make sure that people have access to this information from this network and this thing that you're building. There are other people who are using their networks though for not great work, and that's super unfortunate, and can slow down your recovery. So you're both going fast, but sometimes I want to say slow down just for a minute so that you can plan, so that you can go fast later. That's one of my concerns, because you're so fast that my major concern is that things might get missed. And what I don't want is people to be left behind who just felt like it just ran right past them. And because mega fires are so deeply traumatic, by nature, they're just incredibly traumatic. They need, some people can't lift their heads up for 2 years. They just can't do it. Contents, they can't do that. Or the debris removal process for you is very unusual, because what you never see is that the federal government will pay 100% of 180 days, which was 6 months. So they had to sort of blaze through that to get it done. And then, of course, certain things were not done, like testing. Now the community and philanthropy is figuring all of that out. But at the same time, you have an unprecedented amount of smoke damage. So we have some environmental concerns that we need to work through. I actually have a lot of faith in the people of LA. I worry a little bit about the grief being passed by sometimes in the speed of rebuilding. But because there's so much talent, it's like I've never seen anything like the amount of talent and you know, people think the personalities might be different in the Eaton Fire that they are in Palisades, but they're really not. It's really very similar, and I'm hoping that you find even more ways to actually work together. I know Eaton Fire Survivors Network has done that, but I think you have a lot to share across the board, and I'm excited about that. But you're actually doing really well.
So I have this question that they will pop up, and it's just, do you have any advice, right? And the reason I ask that is just because something happened this weekend. We had a celebrity, Tiffany Haddish, come in Friday to a local grocery store and say all groceries are free from 12 to 4. But it was chaos. There was disorganization. Some people stood in line for hours and had to be turned away. So is there any advice that you could give us? Oh, you can't hear me. Let me type.
Well, I heard about half of that, but you had a celebrity come into a grocery store. Was it productive or was it performative? I think that's always my question.
Productive.
Like, do you actually care about the community or for content?
No.
Oh, I love a grocery giveaway. I'm not mad about that.
Yeah. She did a grocery giveaway.
A lot of celebrities in LA. You have a few celebrities. One or two. I heard that one time somewhere. I love a grocery giveaway. That's all good. And those things are fine. But you also are going to have to be, you know, over the next once you round a year, you're going to see that people will have needs, but those things should go through the nonprofits as much as possible. Because then you can have a way of and the disaster case managers and the long-term recovery group, because those families need tracking, and not tracking in a bad way, but tracking like, okay, what else is coming for you here? We need to make sure that we are, attending to whatever their needs are, and we need to make sure that this family, especially high need families, are not walking alone. Nobody should walk this alone. Period. That's our whole model. But even in a community, nobody should walk alone. I don't mind a celebrity, popping in, doing a grocery giveaway. Totally good with that. I just want to make sure that they are not just doing it for clout, but that they really care about the community. And so, okay, I really like her. So, I'm not going to say who it was, but like, she's great. So I'm good with that. As long as the motives are good is a big deal for me, and that they, what I'd really like for them to do is stop by it in a year and do another one when people are even more tired. And fire communities, everybody needs this, but I'm a mega fire specialist. You need visual deliverables of progress and hope. You need reminders that the entire community outside has not forgotten about you. And instead of just fighting, because you do have people who are going to come in and outsiders and who are going to just want to profit from you, or they'll misrepresent themselves, sometimes even as experts. And that's really not good at all. I'm really not a fan of that for obvious reasons, because I am an actual expert. So I'm like, I don't care about the competition. I need more competition. Bring it on. But I don't want them to give you bad advice. But I would also like that same celebrity or other ones to remember that Altadena and Pasadena, the Eaton Fire and the Palisades people are going to need their attention a year from now and 2 years from now, and to keep people in your hearts for longer than we're used to because of the news cycle.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here continuously. So the comment says, I really love what your organization is building. It's so helpful to give guidance on how to move forward from such devastation. So Jen.
I see that from, it's from Stogie Man 69. That is quite a name. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's really, I do feel always honored to be allowed into a devastated community. It's personal, even though everybody sees it on TV. I know when we had our disaster, I recoiled at all of the news people, like on every street corner instead of in front of something burning. And I knew that they were doing their job, but I was also like, thank you for all your help, but please can you give us some privacy? This is horrible and painful. We need your help, but do you mind doing it a little more on our terms? And that was an unrealistic feeling. But and then I was sleeping in my car at Sears Point Raceway with my dogs because I couldn't leave the Valley or I wouldn't be able to come back and work. And I was interviewed by the news and as a fire refugee. And when he walked away, I burst into tears because I was like, I am not your fire. You know what I mean? I am not your content. I'm a human being, and this is terrible. So thank you for appreciating that, because I recognize that being allowed in is a big deal. And it looks like people stood in line for hours. Oh, but many were turned away. Yeah, that's not good. You know, a little more planning. She just needed a little more planning. So good intentions, but you got to execute it well. Especially when you are dealing with a traumatized community, you have to be incredibly thoughtful. I always try to think of the user experience, not my experience, but like, how are people encountering us, and what can we do better? Thank you all for your patience with my issues. You're so nice.
No worries.
Oh, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Jen. You and I spoke about this before, and I mentioned it yesterday. But if you could speak on this, that would be great. And I need to plug in my laptop because my battery is going to die in a minute. I just put that in our chat.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm going to say. I do. The question is speak about the difference between what I know about people submitting a claim versus hiring an attorney. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I do not give legal advice, but I can tell you what I've seen. Okay.
Right.
So this is a big deal. You have a structured settlement. Most of the time you do not need an attorney. If you do not have a structured settlement, then sure, get an attorney. But know that many of them charge as low as 17 and 18%. Some of the biggest ones charge 33 1/3%. And so I need you to think about that as your money. And it's incredibly important to me that you understand that that's your money, and to make sure that they may have a lot of experience in fires, but how do people who've dealt with those organizations feel about them now? It's good to go into a message board with fire survivors. Is all the advice great? No, but a lot of it is, especially around how attorneys will treat you. We had a whole group of attorneys about 6 months ago in the Eaton fire emailing the people in the Dixie fire saying, we're too busy for you now. We have Eaton. And so we're going to drop you. And they were offering them 8% on their settlement just to get rid of them. So that's not good. So here's the thing. There are, in a structured settlement like the Fire Victims Trust, which was the Camp Fire and the Tubbs Fire where I live, you are going to be allotted funding based upon your degree of suffering. Like, did you lose a family member or somebody? Is it your house that burned down? Not everybody's did. Like, you're entitled if you have smoke damage. Did you how many children did you have? What was your experience like? So they quantify a lot of that pain and suffering. Those people, like in the campfire and our fire, did not need an attorney because it was an allotment. But many of them hired an attorney because they didn't know. And that means that they gave away like 30%, many of them, of their money to rebuild from their own suffering to attorneys that they did not need. And also, there's no hurry. There's no rush to hire an attorney. You are fine. You can do one at the last minute. You can also release yourself from that if you have hired an attorney. You do not need to keep them, but I do not give legal advice. I'm telling you that I have just seen a lot of attorneys make a lot of money that they were not entitled to. Some of them do great, but a good attorney would tell you that. A good attorney would say, if you're a structured settlement, like Maui has a structured one, you don't necessarily need an attorney at all. You can do it yourself or with a paralegal. You don't need to give them 30% of your pain and suffering.
And then you told me something that you had seen. Now I'm echoing. And the people that just submitted a claim with, up there it's PG&E, versus people who hired a lawyer 6 or however many years later, some with the lawyer still haven't settled. People that had a claim, for the most part, a lot of them settled at 2 years or whatever. So because Edison now has this big pot of money so people can submit claims.
Yeah, they're looking at it right now. So a claim will often come from, like, if Southern California Edison has to go into a structured settlement like PG&E did, then you'll be fired. You will be part of a trust, right? And that's not quite the same as a class action suit, because what you know about people submitting a claim versus hiring a lawyer. So I was raised by an attorney, which made high school super painful, by the way, because she separated us and interrogate us, and that was not good. But she was in law school, so she was practicing at home. Okay, people settled. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. There are people who have very complicated claims and they have not settled yet. I even know somebody here who didn't, and we're almost 8 years deep. The issue is, here's what I would like to say. Don't be in a hurry. And if you have, consider undoing it. Because people that settled so some of the fires, there was just a settlement, like the Dixie fire, they got paid out pretty quickly, and PG&E had already gone through their structured settlement. They were also found at fault for that fire. There was a case that I know of that a woman who happens to be an attorney, she represented her family and she did really, really well. Some people do settle in 2 years. It depends on the type of fire. It depends on how structured the settlement's in. Some hired attorneys still haven't settled 6 years out. Well, that's, here we are for the Dixie fire was burned down Greenville October 4th, 2021. And people are getting their settlements now, and it's almost 4 years later. So you do have to prepare for that too. You might be faster if Southern California Edison doesn't go and do a structured bankruptcy. Then it could come sooner. Just do your homework. Like, get on the message boards, which I don't belong to because I did not lose my home, and so I feel like I do not need to be on there. That they can tell me what they need. Right. And ask them about every single. You're gonna have all different kinds of settlements. Maui has a global settlement. That's a very unusual thing. They also did not need attorneys, and so they are now going to be paid out. The other thing that I need everybody to know that we're working on right now is if you likely will not be paid out by January. And so we're going to have to go back to DC and get this bill called HR 5863. We need an extension on that. The way that the law currently works is that you have to claim your settlement as personal income tax, and you cannot deduct your attorney's fees. And we were able to fix that. Passed a law last year. 39 months. I went to DC for 39 months. It was a lot. That is blatantly unfair, and Chu knows. Your Congress people do know about it, and they know that we're just trying to navigate the right timing for it, because it's an odd time there, and also not to have them use it as leverage in any way against people of LA. So I think you're going to be a couple of years away from a settlement for sure. And in the meantime, to think about that in terms of when it comes in, to think about how do you sustain yourself for 2 years, and also for people who it's very hard, then how does a community sustain themselves? And so you go very slowly on your attorneys. That's really that can be for either. It just depends on every situation is different, except it's usually energy companies so far. The bill is HR 5863, and it passed into law on December 12th, 2024. We actually got a standalone bill In the House, 7 no votes, and then they held it for 5 months to try to leverage it for other things, which made me politely furious on the ground in front of them all the time. And then we passed on unanimous consent out of the Senate from Senator Padilla's office. And it was a bipartisan law, by the way. We had a ton of bipartisan support. They just did part of it. The disaster tax casualty thing was in the most recent tax bill, but now we just need to get an extension, and we want it into perpetuity so nobody ever worries about this again, because it's dumb and unfair. Now, this is not an inevitability for you that you're going to be taxed this way. We're going to work really hard, and I am determined. I'm very determined. I have a good reputation on the Hill for this. Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Marcus. Anyway, we should do more on that. Really, attorney education is so important, but you really want attorneys who don't have any meat in the game, period, whatsoever. You want people who are not going to make money off of you to actually, talk to your community about that. It's very important. It's a little hard to find.
Yeah.
So thank you. I do understand. And when we watch you go through this, I got to tell you, like, with your fire, I had just been spending a year and a half at that point working in Maui, and there's the Aloha song, which is we all sang together at the summit last year. We're going to do it this year, and it kept running through my head, watching your pain and your suffering. And I texted my friend Kainoa, and I was like, it's running through my head like a prayer. And I just can't stop and he said, well, it is a prayer, Jen. So that's why.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'd love to get that from you. The Aloha song?
Yeah, I'll get that to you for sure. In fact, I can send you, it's even on our socials right now too, the video of all of us singing it. I didn't know he was going to do it. So I was standing next to him, and we're all holding hands. But I was weeping so hard, and my nose was running, and I could not do anything about it. So it's me ugly crying, but I can get that to you.
Yeah, please send that to me. That would be lovely. I think you showed that to us in one of the meetings or something. I vaguely remember it. You either talked about it or we played it something. Yeah, I think I've seen it on your social too, but I think you spoke about it. Excuse me. We're coming up on almost an hour or 45 minutes of talking to you. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. This has been, to me, power-packed, including with the technical issues we've had. I'd love to bring you back on maybe after the summit. Wait, I think there might be another question. Let me see. No,
I would love that. I would like to let everybody know that even though it's a small summit, we do make sure it's available. All the information is completely free and available. It's on our website under Summit, like all the ones from last year. And then we have a YouTube after the Fire USA. You have to do the USA or you get a German band. And all of the Summit, every year we've invested the last 3 years in actually filming it. And we also put it on our podcast, How to Disaster, because we want to meet people where they're at so you can get an idea of what it's about.
Thank you. I look forward to it and coming back with a recap of everything I learned and the connections. I'm super excited about it. And thank you for the invitation, for sure. Keep doing the amazing work you're doing.
Thank you. Well, I'm honored to sit in this room and Zoom with you. And again, I apologize for the issues on my end, but absolutely, I will come back as often as you need me. And you can also call me and say, it's not going to be you this time, but can you give me some people on these subjects? And I'm like a Rolodex, and I totally will. I'd love to do that.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll need that. So thank you, Jen, for that. Is there any last, excuse me, parting words or advice or anything that you want to leave with our audience today?
Okay, got that one. Any last words for fire survivors? Have grace for each other, because the people standing in front of you are not always in their best space, and they may be trying to even hold it all together, but inside they're grieving still hard and will for a long time. And it's okay to not be okay, but it's also okay to say it. It's also okay to share it. The community is really the answer to how do you get through this. Collaboration really is the answer. There's really no way around it, and that's probably why I like it so much in that sense. You will rebuild, you will get home. But the question is, what will that home look like, and what will your measure of success be? Because if it's just units of housing, you can choose that. But I like how Maui does it, which is they say, how do you get your ohana home? How do you get the people who were there, who were your neighbors, who you loved, who you built lives with home? And for people, whenever you can convert them into from renters into homeowners, that is a beautiful thing. And there are ways to do that post-disaster, and people are working on that issue. And you're with your wonderful community to work with. I have a lot of faith in you. Make sure you continue to work together, fewer elbows, more hands, and then we'll be with you all the way. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. I will be in touch. I want that Aloha song. And I look forward to being up there in a month for the summit.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day today, okay?
Have a great day.
All right, take care. So Brian and Jamal, excuse me, please rejoin. And
Jamal keeps kicking. I try to bring myself in. Jamal pushes me back out.
You're garbled. You're garbled. Sorry.
I just
but
fixed
you were
it.
going blah, 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 blah.
I think I fixed it.
I know we've got announcements coming. That was incredible. I'm super glad she came on today. In spite of our technical issues, she's a wealth of knowledge.
She definitely is. I mean, I loved how she, was very smooth given the technical difficulties. She got the gist of your questions before you were typing it in, and was able to just flow and just kind of go. And because, I mean, again, and unfortunately, she's been through this before, right?
Yeah.
This familiar territory, and unfortunately, it's one of those things you get even better at the more you do. And it's evident that she knows what she's talking about and has given, particularly good advice or guidance to us locally, because again, she knows what's happening. And man, living in Southern California, and I guess even with dealing with the Hawaiian fires, we have too much familiarity with these fires. And I mean, it got really bad this time, but we're gonna know how to move forward in the future should anything like this happen again. And the way we're rebuilding Altadena in particular, because obviously she is correct. We probably should be communicating more with the folks in Palisades. They probably have a lot more in common than we think. But the way we're rebuilding, and hopefully they're doing the same, if something like this happens again, the devastation will be lessened, right? It won't be as much. So I'm very appreciative of her. That was great.
And I'm going to reach out to Pally Strong and try to bring some of them on, because they have, humongous organization now, Pally Strong, and just see what they're doing. But I like how she said, fewer elbows, more hands. Because I instantly did like this. And when you do your elbows out, you're pushing people away.
Yes.
Right. And so you're not collaborating and doing things together like you would with the hands. So I'm going to remember that. Fewer elbows, more hands. Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. I guess we have some announcements. Huh?
Well, I was trying to see if B's mic was okay now.
Oh, yeah. Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, he's still garbled. Dang.
Why is it still doing that?
I don't know. It's just technical difficulty day. Technical Tuesday, technical difficulty, whatever. It's just acting funny today. But yeah, I'm super glad she came on. I'm excited about going up north to the summit. And
that's what I was going to bring up too. I have the
summit info.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure some of these Pally Strong people up there and many others that I'll be able to bring on the show. It's the 8th through the 11th. So those days I won't be available, I guess. I'll figure it out. I might be able to go live or do something from there too.
So
Yeah,
it's
we
the
fly out on
9th
the
through the
8th.
11th.
Yeah,
So-
they fly us up on the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fly us home on the 11th.
Yeah, I bet there is going to be some insight from them folks from Lahaina. That's gonna be,
we met some
interesting.
a couple months ago. They were here in the first meeting, the first and second meeting I went to. And
All
some
right.
people from Boulder, from the fire that happened in Boulder a couple of years ago. So
There you go. What's up, Stephen Sip? Thanks for joining.
hey, Scipio. Yeah, that's good stuff. Uh-oh. Brian, were you getting ready to say something? Because I heard the garble garble. Oh. Is it your headphones, I wonder? No, because that's not your mic. Duh.
You got the fan on or something? Oh. Not sure what's going on, but all right, I'm going to stop sharing this. We'll go to the slides, and then we'll come on back. Let us get rid of this real quick.
And I'll give you a little preview about Thursday. Excuse me.
Excellent. Here we go, folks. All right, as usual, we start with. Here, let me take that off. Where's that? All right, cool. Sorry, I was just removing the banners. All right, as usual, we start with the survivor support location, which is actually at the Altadena Community Center. These are for folks who are still dealing with SBA and some of their FEMA claims and the insurer and the tax office. This is located at 730 East Altadena Drive. They're open Mondays through Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Definitely closed on weekends. If you have some questions, you can reach out to 626-398-6174. We also have, the One-Stop Permit Center. So those folks that are moving forward and are moving towards the rebuilding of their homes, this is a great facility located at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210. They have walk-in hours Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30. And if you'd like a rebuild consultation as an individual or with a small group, they have those available on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., as well as Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. You can also schedule an appointment with Southern California Edison's planner. They're available Mondays and Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to noon. And in order to schedule the appointment, you have to go to the website recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding/1-stop-permit-centers. Once you're on that page, there is a button that says schedule, and then you can go ahead and set it up for yourself. So LA County is waiving and or refunding permit fees for homeowners rebuilding after the Eaton and Palisades fires. Basically, if you're a homeowner who has already paid your fees, they can be refunded. And those who have not yet paid your fees, you can have them waived. Basically, to qualify, you just have to demonstrate that you both owned and lived in your property prior to the 7th of January of this year. And this is only good for a replacement single-family home destroyed by either of the fires. It does include ADUs, pools, garages, etc., and other accessory structures. In addition, it does cover standalone ADUs for temporary occupancy during the rebuild. What's not eligible, though, are commercial properties, rentals, multifamily or temporary housing projects, and also properties that were not damaged by the fires. Now, if you want to get a refund or a waiver, you do have to fill out one of the forms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen, or again, go to recovery.lacounty.gov/fee-waivers-and-refunds to actually get the form. go ahead and complete it. And once completed, you can then submit the completed form via email to recovery@planning.lacounty.gov, or you could walk in person to one of the permit centers. Cool thing is you only need one form to cover all the departments, and so you don't have to do multiple. Moving the wrong screen. Here we go. So Cal Assist Mortgage Fund, this will allow you to get some relief of 3 months of mortgage payments up to a maximum of $20,000. The funds don't have to be repaid, and it's free to apply. If you do get these funds, they are paid. The grants paid directly to the mortgage servicer. And just please note that go ahead and apply sooner than later, because they're going to be awarded as long as funds are available. There's no indication that they're running out of funds, but don't wait. Just go ahead and submit it so you can actually potentially get that grant. Now, to be eligible, your primary residence must have been destroyed or considered uninhabitable due to a qualified disaster from the 1st of January 23 through the 8th of January of 2025. Obviously, the Eaton fire qualifies there. You must own and occupy the home with up to 4 units on the property. And you do have to meet the income limits of a combined $140,700. If you actually do apply, do be prepared to provide mortgage statements, bank statements, homeowners insurance or FEMA claims, proof of income, or your utility bills. And then if in order to apply, you do have to go to calassistmortgagefund.org. And at the top of the page, there is a button that says apply. Or go ahead and click on that. And if you need some help, you can call to get assistance Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 800-501-0019. Or if you'd like some help in person, you can actually go to the Altadena Community Center at 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena. Or if you are in LA and displaced, you can go to One Stop Rebuilding Center at 1828 Sawtell Boulevard in LA to get some in-person assistance with the application, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And this is provided by Neighborhood Housing Services. So we have an adjustment to the Project Passion Freedom Store. The original flyer said that they are doing this every Monday from the beginning of last Friday, but now it's every Monday and Tuesday. So the Freedom Shop for Eaton Fire survivors, it is by appointment only, where you can get items such as toiletries, home essentials, and more. It is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., again, Mondays and Tuesdays, at Harambe, which is at 1605 Navarro Avenue in Pasadena. In order to book your appointment, you would go to the website tinyurl.com/ all in capitals, Harambe Freedom Store. And that's HARAM, B as in boy, EEFREEDOM store. Or you can scan the QR code. LA Fire Justice is continuing their Rebuilding 101 ongoing workshop series. The next installment will be tonight. It'll be talking about money talks. This begins at 6:30 with guest speaker. 6:30 is the opening remarks. The guest speaker begins at 6:45, and then at 7:30 there will be Q&A. This is going to be located at the LA Fire Justice Office, located at 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100 in Pasadena, and refreshments will be provided. Now through Friday, so August 15th, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Jefferson and the Villa Park branch, they're going to be providing lunch at the library, where they're providing free healthy meals for children ages 0 to 18 with no registration required. Hope Now presents Backpack Giveaway. This is going to be Friday, August 15th, starting at 10 a.m. while supplies last. They're going to be providing bags and school supplies. It's going to be located at 1800 North Lake Avenue in Pasadena. In order to reserve a bag, you can send an email to info@hopenowcrc.org, or you can call 626-817-3910. Once you've reserved a bag, they will hold it until 6:30 p.m. on Friday. After that time, if you haven't come, they will probably give that away. We have an additional back to school giveaway put on by Darden Leadership and Career Academy, in addition to Simply Divine Academy. It is going to be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., located at 421 East Woodbury Road in Altadena. And in order to participate in this, you do have to scan the QR code on the screen, and there will be community resources, free haircuts, as well as books, in addition to the school giveaway stuff. Additionally, presented by Charlie's Angels, there's another back-to-school give back. This is where there will be free school supplies, free backpacks, free haircuts, free braids, community resources, free food, surprise giveaway, and much, much more. This is going to be again Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., located at Eaton Blanche Park, which is at 3100 East Delmar Boulevard in Pasadena. To register, you would scan the QR code. And as I had mentioned yesterday, when it comes to the haircuts as well as the braids, they do ask that you ask for simple styles, just to make sure that everybody can get the services. There's an insurance workshop also on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it's going to be for homeowners with reverse mortgages. This is going to be located at Monte Cedro Senior Living Community at 2212 El Molino Avenue in Altadena. It's going to be they're going to guide you on how to work with the department on any issues you may be having with your agent or adjuster during this claim process. And again, Saturday, Pasadena Parks and Rec and Community Services is continuing their Summer Park concert series with Latin jams from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is going to be at Memorial Park at 85 East Holly Street in Old Pasadena. I believe that's it. Yep, that's it for today. I bring everybody, well, just me for now, back. Toni is going to pop in, I guess, in a minute. And I don't know if Brian is still having issues. Let's see. Oh, he's going to get more coffee. All right, well, as soon as they come back, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap the show. I don't want to do that before they return, so hopefully you guys got some good information from Jennifer. That's a very unique guest that we had on today. It's coming from a different perspective, really giving us guidance on what to expect in dealing with these fires. I'm very grateful that she was able to come on and provide her unique angle, and that Toni's actually going to be part of the organization, or part of the summit, and going up there and getting some good information to come back and share with us. As a community, I think, this is pulling us together even more. And I really, really liked her comment about less elbows and more hands. That was a really telltale kind of comment, Oh,
no bolt on. That's what it is to make a shirt. No bolt on.
That is crazy, man. I don't know what the heck is going on with your mic.
Oh, it's messed up.
Yeah, it still sounds like you got a fan like right in front of your mouth or right in front of the mic. Can you try unplugging it and then plugging it back in? I know for mine, sometimes that actually works. The way that light is on you, Toni, it looks like you're outside. It almost looks like you're outside in Altadena with the background and everything. That's actually pretty cool. So, Brian, you're muted.
I know, it's like I'm in 4K today, which is great.
Mm-hmm. It definitely works. So, Brian's mic is still bugging out, so I don't know what...
Well, we're just at an hour and 4 minutes, so yeah. You know what I always say. Toodles! No, thank you everyone really for tuning in to Jennifer Gray Thompson today. I think that it was an amazing conversation with her.
I'm not back up there.
Yes,
now you sound good.
She's
you sound good.
Great knowledge, willing to help us. Is that Charlie Brown's teacher? It was.
You sound perfect now.
So I look forward to going up to that summit next month and bringing information back and having Jen back on the show and whoever I can connect with, like Pally Strong people or whoever, so that we know how we're all doing this as part of the recovery in the long term. I'm super excited about that. I'm thankful that I'm in that 200 that got the invitation to come up to the summit. And we don't pay for anything. They pay for our flights, our hotels, and everything. So I'm super thankful to be doing this so that our community has the latest, greatest, best information possible to help us in the recovery as we continue with AltadenaTalks. So
as we proceed to give you what you need.
And on Thursday, the Kendra Mays from Kendra Mays Designs is going to be on the show with us for some updates on permits that she has. Prior to the show this morning, I went to a lot on Glen, right off of Altadena Drive, just north of Altadena Drive, between that and Palm, for a groundbreaking of the Williams. What are their names? Maria and I gotta look. But anyway, not Williams, Edwards, Maria and Craig Edwards. And they go to Pasadena Church, so their pastors, Kerwin and Melinda, I'm not going to say her name because I might be wrong, but Pastor Kerwin and his wife, the co-pastor, were there. They prayed over it, and then they used the shovel and broke the ground. And so that was really nice. I told Pastor Kerwin I want to have him on the show as well.
Very cool.
There was a couple funders that were there. One who gave me his card, he's a realtor. The other guy's a mortgage broker or whatever. I said, well, I'll bring you on the show too. Who's this? Danny Shue. He's a realtor, but they know he's at a Porter Ranch, but they know Kendra. So I said, okay, well, let's bring you on. So meeting and connecting with more people that can hopefully help our town is a great thing. And it was nice to be at that groundbreaking. She's going to talk about that and many others because I think she's already done 3 prior to this one and has several permits, I think in the 20s or something, and we'll be doing lots of groundbreakings in the coming weeks. She anticipates getting some people home maybe by Thanksgiving or Christmas. So she's going to come on. I have reached out to Allison of PCI Builders. I called Sal from Vivier Construction the other day, couldn't reach him, so I'm going to reach out back to him and Level 42 and Justin Love and some others because we're at 8 months, and I do want to hear how things are going for them with anyone who is working with any of them, right? And see if they have full permits, if they've broken ground or whatever. We'd love to have them come back on and share with the community what they're doing. So that's all I have today, but thanks again for watching and listening to Jennifer Gray Thompson with all her amazing knowledge from After the Fire.
Yes. Definitely. Thank you, Jennifer. That was real.
Thank you.
Again, she's a trooper. She rolled with all that tech issues and just she was.
Well, we rolled around it. You know, she put the questions in the private chat. We popped them up. I was showing Brandon how to do it. Brandon was throwing the headlights, but he got it. It was like a spur of the moment. We hooked it in.
He did it.
You know, made it happen. He's still standing over there going on.
Well, you know, and she said, we worked it out, but she said her laptop started doing some update last night and wasn't complete, which we experienced with Brian a lot because Brian has a gazillion apps that he runs. And when they're updating or downloading or whatever, same thing. He's frozen, all this. So she was experiencing that today. But she also told me, even with her TV, it's happening. So it could be within her internet service provider or something. But she's a trooper because she rolled with it. And yeah, we did it by questions or however we could, and we got through it. But the information that she was able to share in spite of that was much needed for the community, and look forward to that long-term connection with her and after the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Jamal, for doing the wonderful announcements.
Sweetly.
And I think I'm getting ready to say toodaloo because I'm done.
Yeah.
Anything from you two?
I just wanted to throw the website up there for Jennifer Gray. It's afterthefireusa.org.
Yes, thank you.
Just want to make sure if you guys want to check that out. She actually has 148 podcasts under her belt since 2017, I believe, or 20. And they're all podcasts that you listen to. She does have a few videos. I was going to bring up that Lahaina song up while you guys were talking about it, but I couldn't move fast enough. So.
It's okay. She'll send it to me. We'll do it on the upcoming one. It's all good. All right, fellas. Well, have a wonderful day. Everybody in AltadenaTalks land, have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in.
That's right. Everybody have a good one. Have a great week. And shout out to all the kids going back to school. Hope y'all have a fantastic year.
Definitely.
And shout out to the people who are now going to have to deal with that traffic that schools back in. I'm feeling bad for you because myself, I will be leaving Santa Clarita at 6 a.m. to get over here to Pasadena by 6:30. So I can just look out the window and laugh at all the commoners trying to fight through the traffic late in the day. All right. Thank you very much. We're going to end this show now on a high note. When they go low, we go high.
Toodles.
Peace.